Just another one of those days. 130-plus yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on the ground, no turnovers, 7 sacks, and yet you still find a way to lose. And that pretty much is your Atlanta Falcons in a nutshell. They are the Van Goghs. They are the artistes of finding a new way, a more creative way, Dimino, to lose each and every week.
Well, it's record book diving. We're trying to figure out, hey, has anybody done this? How long has it been since somebody's done this? And nothing is positive. So I also have another thing. The Atlanta Falcons are your, I don't know, let's go with over 50 rec league team. You don't practice. You play once a week. You ain't got a coach. And you hope that Charlie's hot from 3. And then everybody goes, hey, man, we'll see you again next week. There's nothing about this team that says they get better. There's nothing about this team that says they're coached. There's nothing about this team that says they have a plan. It's just we'll play. And you know who does that? Rec league teams once a week.
So Michael Penix at the start of the game, it was a microcosm of things to come. Kyle Pitts is wide open, probably had a touchdown, drops the ball. On that same drive, they come with the blitz. Kyle Pitts, Michael Penix tells him to change the route because he knows the blitz is coming, doesn't run the right route. Kyle Pitts isn't where he's supposed to be. As a result, Michael Penix is hung out to dry. He fumbles. The Colts go the other way. And as a young quarterback, I'm not making excuses because I still think he has the ability to be a good quarterback. But when that happens, you don't have confidence in anything that's going on the field. And then you go to the sidelines and you got a guy that clearly has no answers in Zach Robinson. If you're Michael Penix Jr., at that point, you're in no man's land. You're totally on an island, totally on your own at that point.
You're entitled to think that maybe he's a good football player, but that's the same position they're in up there if they're intelligent. With all due respect, you're sitting in a studio talking to me and talking to anybody who's listening, angry as all get out. Not frustrated, angry. But maybe, again, we'll pull back on the anger at some point later today because it's not worth it. You think they don't know either, and I'm telling you what I heard postgame from Michael Penix. For now, he's ruined. He's ruined. I almost thought he was going to cry postgame. And again, I'm not telling you it should ever come to that where I think my quarterback is going to cry because he's struggling or his team is struggling. But he's dead inside. Maybe even worse. What's worse than dead is when you're mostly dead and you go, I'm going to have to go through this again next week. And I'm going to have to go through this the next week. He has no chance to be a leader. He has no chance to improve this year because nothing in that building on those, I don't know, I was going to call them the possessed grounds, it seems, of Flowery Branch. Somebody went up there and just said, oogada boogada boogada. And everything in that building and on that field has just turned to crap since somebody's done it.
As long as who's in charge at the top, and I start with the owner to Rich McKay and on down, the underlings who like to put things out on social media, as long as they're still around, nothing's going to change. You're going to hear this week in, week out from guys that aren't free thinkers. Your head coaches are not free thinkers. They're a part of a collaboration, and that's the problem. And again, week in, week out, this is what we hear from Raheem Morris.
They fought hard, get that thing in overtime, and we had plenty of opportunities to win it. And we just got to find a way to get better, whether it's stopping the run, whether it's covering kicks better, returning the ball better, or converting on third down. All the things that kind of hurt us today. So we got to find a way to win those games.
We got to find a way. We got to find a way. We got to find a way. He has said the same thing now 4 weeks in a row. He's a loser as a head coach. He's 21 games below 500 as a head coach. He's a loser. Maybe a nice guy, good as a coordinator. The guy's a loser, and he has no solutions. That's who you hired. That's who you were impressed by when you made this hire. And it's there on social media. As you said, Chris, it's a manifesto from somebody inside the Falcons organization. 8, 10 tweets in a row about the process, about Raheem Morris, about everything, about how they're smarter than you. We're different from other NFL teams, and you don't understand that from the outside looking in. Here's what I understand. You're a losing organization, and nothing has changed because now it's going to be 8 straight years without going to the postseason. That's what I understand.
It's at the territory where it's not just the losing in a record. It's what you've become. You're a joke. You're a laughingstock. It's the stuff that is said about the Jets. It's the stuff that's said about the Browns. You want me to lift you up a little bit? You're a tick better than them, but no more than a tick. And I think what you've done to create this anger, this chasm between you and your fan base is incredible. Nobody wants to admit to anything. Nobody gets changed out. The biggest move this year was pulling a guy from the booth down, and you're no better. As a matter of fact, statistically, you're worse. And all the draft picks and everything else that you tried shoving up my nose, shoving up everybody's rear end as a fact it's none of it's playing out. So here's my problem with Find a Way Guy. We're going to now, that's what it'll be today, Find a Way Guy. Who thinks he's capable of finding a way? Like if a way was laying down right as he got out of his car today in Flowery Branch, and it screamed, way, way, way. He wouldn't be smart enough to pick it up. So let's cut it out with Find a Way. You've had opportunity after opportunity. We're going to find a way to be better on third down. Well, it's amazing. You haven't found that. We're going to find a way to make sure our quarterback actually doesn't intentionally ground. Haven't found that way. We're going to make sure our wide receivers know what they're doing. Haven't found a way. You're letting DBs at time, again, this is amazing. You gave up 500-plus yards, and everybody's talking about wasn't a defense fault. Well, it kind of was.
You gave up 323 yards rushing. They rushed for just under 8 yards per carry.
But you gave up only 13 points for 3 quarters. That's a livable world.
Because they're on the field the entire game, because you fell in love with the pass, because there's no consistency, there's no approach, there's no adjustments made over the game.
And another guy is going to win Player of the Week.
Yes. Jonathan Taylor is going to be the AFC's Offensive Player of the Week, without question. No one's going to top what he did. And you go back to 18. This is an organization that is 50-75. Going back to 2018.
Feels worse.
It does feel worse.
It feels worse.
Because it's getting worse.
Which is, again, I'm telling you.
7th worst mark in the NFL.
You're the Jets of the South with more wins. I said it 3 weeks ago. You're the Jets of the South with a few more wins.
All right, I'm going to give you a number here that's going to freak everybody out if they haven't seen it. This is the second season in a row where Raheem Morris and his Falcons have suffered a 4-game losing streak. Arthur Smith had only one such losing streak in 3 seasons as a head coach. So those numbers will tell you you've got the wrong guy. Those numbers will tell you you chose wrong again. Those numbers will tell you you are clearly regressing with Raheem Morris as your head coach.
It's worse. Because, again, what you've built is this canyon of problems with your fan base. It's not only not hiring the right guy. It's the idea that you got the right guy and you shoved it down our throats. They love him. They love him. Now you've created, and again, you said something during the crossover. I'm not sure. It might have happened. It's been 32 years on the air. It might have happened where I said, hey, man, I'm kind of big on not telling people what to do with their time, money, and emotion. You know, it's between you and your God. It's between you and your spouse, your finances. I don't want to get into it. If you're paying for parking, if you're giving them your time this upcoming week, you're part of the problem. Now, I understood you pay for the PSLs. I understand that. I get it. I get why you're invested financially. But you're dead man walking. You're zombieing your way into that building because of a lost cause. You want to know what Arthur Blank should do? He won't, because nobody does this. He should give back the people who've had their tickets since the PSL. Since then, he should give them back half their money. We have not performed as a football team. Now, again, I'm not saying, oh, wouldn't it be great? Vegas, what if they give you back the money? Yeah. What if they give you back the money? Not a great business proposition. But if Arthur Blank wants to at least acknowledge that they've had problems for way too long, the people who've bought the original PSL, if they have their seats, give them back half their money.
I'm just going to tell you this. I'm not going to mention the guy's name. If you find it, you find it. Read through that. Read through his explanation, how he talks down to the Falcons nation. He thinks you're stupid. He thinks we're stupid. He thinks everybody outside the Arthur Blank organization and all that entails, everything that falls under that umbrella, he thinks you're stupid. You're stupid enough to just keep giving him money because we know how to do things. You don't understand. So you want to give money to that type of organization and attitude? Have at it.
Well,
I wouldn't.
There was, look, mostly that party and everybody in that building is just realize, shh, we got to be quiet, man. We got nothing going on. Except he put on Twitter that he's really happy that you have Walker and Pierce, and in April he'll feel that way too. Please don't ever talk about the draft around here. Please don't ever talk about what you're going to be happy about in April. That is, again, an absurd comment.
You mean in April when you don't have a first-round pick?
Yeah,
and the Rams have your first-round pick that's probably going to be a top 10 pick?
No, we're good. We're good because we got Pearson Walker in, and that should satisfy you. He made that a public statement. I'm sure going to feel good about having these guys, especially in April. He's referring to the draft pick. I don't care if you might have gotten it right. By the way, to be determined. It was to be determined whether Arthur Smith was going to be a good coach, and certainly Raheem Morris was going to be. But you told me he was, and you're telling me you're going to be happy in April when somebody else has your pick. And here's the crazy part. Our boss sent us a text today. Look who's got the 10th pick. It's the Rams.
Yeah.
It's now a top 10 pick.
Because of James Pierce.
Okay. But you know what the thing is? That's like the 7th thing on my list.
I know.
Because that's so far down the road. I'll get angry about that at some point. But that's not even in the top 7 or 8 things that are wrong with this organization right now.
All right, here's A.J. Terrell stating now the obvious.
Yeah, treating every game like playoff. You know, that's the position we in, and we know that we got to come in next week and get to the drawing board and go out there and play better. It's all want to. You know, mentally we just got to go out there, lock in on the details, and as a team we just got to go out there and put our best foot forward and get a W each week.
Listen, he's trying as a veteran, as a leader on this team, to say the right things, but this is a broken record. This is like somebody committing a crime, crocodile tears, I'll never do it again. Then they do it the following week, then they do it the following week, and then they do it the following week.
Why?
And it's the same deal every single week.
I'm going to play other sound from other players. Nobody's got the nerve to say what you are or how you play. Seems that way. Remember, Michael Penix 2 weeks ago, we're right where we want to be. One of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Raheem Morris, after the game yesterday, said Michael Penix played well. He always plays well. You're just saying things now.
No, it's worse than just saying things.
Now you're just whatever comes off the top of your head, whether it makes sense or not, you're just saying things. And if you're saying things like that, behind the scenes, as you said during the morning crossover, Chris, I think they've tuned him out.
Yeah. I don't think he has anything to offer.
He's nobody serious to them.
I don't think he has anything to offer. You said Michael Penix played well, and you say he plays well all the time. I'm gonna just kind of piggyback off what you said, but at least tweak it a little bit. That can't come off the top of your head. Because if you have that anywhere in the middle of your head and you push it to the front to your tongue, what you're doing again is you're proving you have no idea what you're watching and what you're doing.
You want to hear him
all in one fell swoop.
You want to hear him talk about Zach Robinson? Before we do, the Falcons in their last 2 games, 1 of 18 on third down, worst conversion rate over 2 games in the NFL since 2011. Let's take it a step further.
3 of 29?
The last 3 games. The worst also, and going back to 2011. And this guy is in charge, and Zach Robinson running your offense.
You took the football first.
In overtime.
You took the football first. Oh, yeah, that's what we wanted to do. They flipped the coin and had to do it again because the refs made a stupid mistake. And then you decided, oh, look at us. We won the flip. Oh, huzzah. We'll take the football. Why? You're 3 for 29 on third downs in 3 weeks in a row.
Here's your head
coach. Let me tell you what I knew was going to happen. You were going to be punted.
Yep. 3 and out, and the Colts go right down the field.
What kind of day
score.
did Daniel Jones have?
He did everything he could to hand you that game.
Okay.
As irresponsible with the football as I've seen any quarterback ever be.
Give him the football first. Let's see what happens. Because I know what you can't do offensively. Give them the football, see if they may make a mistake at the 40. Shorter field. Now we'll take it. Well, you're delusional. You're delusional taking the football
first. There are so many different roads to go down today. Here is Raheem Morris talking about his offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson.
I do have confidence in him. You know, he was able to go out there and get enough points, and we should have had enough to be able to win that football game, and we did not. You know, we had a couple different phases that we want to get better. Obviously, on offense, you want to get third down better, but we did have the chance to move the football, get a bunch of first downs, really do a nice job in the red zone. I think we were 3 for 3. I can't remember exactly what it was. We got to do a better job in some of those situations on third down. If we can do that, we'll be a pretty good offense and be able to clean a lot of things up.
So you can have confidence in him. He can go out the door, and you can go out the door. All of that being said, as long as you have the Blank and McKay, the Lennon and McCartney of the NFL, they fancy themselves. As long as they're in charge, nothing's going to change. Nothing. Doesn't matter who comes in. And I give credit to Matt Chernoff. He's been saying this for 2 years. And I push back a little bit. When you're right, you're right. As long as Arthur Blank is at the top and Rich McKay is with him, nothing is going to change inside of this organization. Absolutely nothing.